In this video, we're going to explore the top 3 needs in a relationship for the masculine and for the feminine in order to create passionate, intimate relationship, but also to sustain them and sustain that passion over time. So let's go. Now, what makes a relationship work is having things in common. It's compatibility. But what makes a relationship truly passionate and intimate is the differences. And that is the polarity, masculine and feminine. And in this video, I'm going to be using the word masculine and feminine in terms of the energy, not in terms of the gender. And what I want to make clear is that that energy, and we all have those energy in every single one of us, but that energy, one of them is mostly predominant. And so you can have a woman that is either masculine or feminine. You can have a man that is mostly masculine or feminine, and that's okay. But what's very interesting to understand is that these differences, that polarity in a relationship is very critical in order to have that passion, that sexual attraction, and to keep that spark alive, so to speak. And what often very much happens is that after a certain period of time, after the honeymoon effect, so to speak, that polarity kind of balances itself out and it becomes neutral. And all of a sudden you end up having just a friendship, but the passion or the sexual attraction is gone. And the reason behind that is that we don't really understand our partner's need. We don't really understand what the feminine needs and what the masculine needs. And it leads to all those misconceptions and all those miscommunication that men and women have and all those unmet needs. So in this video, we're going to create clarity so that you understand the top 3 differences of those 2 energies and how you can meet your own partner's need and your own need as well. And we're going to start with the top 3 needs of the feminine in a relationship. Now, for a woman, for example, in a feminine, to feel connected, to feel passionate, to feel loved and well into the relationship, she will need to feel safe, above all safe, understood, and seen. Now, women crave to be seen. And if you look at women when they're together and they talk to each other, they give it, a lot of compliments. You look good, you look pretty in this dress. They throw each other a lot of those compliments. And this is something that's very important for a woman in a feminine, is that if she wants to feel seen, unique, she wants to feel important, significant, and have that sense of like desired. She feels desired. So that would be the first of the need. The second need would be to feel understood, listened to. And this is where I used to get it so wrong. And I'm sure a lot of the guys out there, maybe if you're watching this, maybe you can relate, is that sometimes you listen to your partner. She's going to tell her the problem she has or whatever she's struggling with. And in your mind, you're already thinking like, well, I know the solution. Let me tell you how to fix it. And you tell her how to fix it. And she, shit just blows up. And then you're trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? You told me your problem, I'm trying to help you, and why are you so mad? But the truth is that women, and that was very painful to learn, women don't want the solution. They just want to feel understood. They want the presence. They want to feel listened to. And so often, all you need to do, even when it's really hard for a guy because your mind jumps to the solution, but you have to just stay present and listen. And that will mean so much more than actually giving the solution, unless she asks you to, of course. And the third need for a woman in a feminine, and that's probably the most important, is to feel safe. Women feel deeply. Women in a feminine feel deeply. They go through life they experience life emotionally. They're much more emotionally engaged, emotionally aware than a man in a masculine is. That also means that they can feel fear much more often. They feel unsafe much more often than a guy can. There's also a lot to do with how unsafe the world can be for a woman, of course, and the history and all of those things. But it can also be mentally or emotionally, and of course physically. So in a relationship, what a woman principally wants is to be able to feel safe in order to feel trust and that she can rely on a partner. And when that is not there for whatever reason, she feels threatened, she feels closed off, she feels like maybe she's making the wrong choice. Maybe the partner doesn't love her, maybe there's a conflict, maybe there's something she cannot trust him anymore. So we have to understand that, especially for a man, if you give your words, for example, I'm going to do something, and you fail to do it, it's going to create that lack of trust, because the woman now feels like, I cannot trust him, and she starts to feel unsafe. So there is many ways to make your partner feel safe in a relationship, but you need to understand just how important that is and how emotionally women can be, meaning that they experience life very differently than maybe we do. And so you may feel like life is so much safer for you as a whole, right? And you don't feel like, well, that situation is nothing scary, and you stop overthinking shit, right? But you have to have empathy, or you have to be able to experience and think from her shoes and being like, okay, maybe if she tells me she's scared in this situation, well, she must feel scared in this situation. So how can we, deal with this situation differently? That's becoming emotionally aware of how your partner feels and not discrediting a feeling simply because of, for you, that there's no logically any problem there, so to speak. And this is where all that conflict, all that confusion, all that difficulty in understanding each other comes from. So becoming aware of those needs will help you meet those needs. And then allow the woman to be in a feminine, and then you can remain in your masculine and have that passion and have that spark. So those are the top 3 needs of a woman in a feminine in a relationship. Now let's talk about the top 3 needs of a man in his masculine, his needs in a relationship. The first one will be to feel appreciated, to feel needed, and to feel somewhat a sense of freedom. Oh, sweet freedom. A man likes to feel appreciated, needed, that he feels like he's bringing some form of value into a relationship, that he's doing something, bringing something into a relationship that only he can do. And that goes a massive way. And it's almost this way of feeling the connection, of feeling the value, of feeling the significance, and the desire, the need that he only can bring to the table. And so that means that criticism will be like the kryptonite, Superman's kryptonite for a man will be criticism. And the challenge is that women have often this habit of criticizing their partner for all the little things they do or don't do. But what they don't realize is that criticism destroys a man's confidence, but also his passion and also how he feels about you. And 2 things are going to happen if you use a lot of criticism. Either he's going to leave because he doesn't feel connected, he doesn't want to be here, and that can really turn into resentment very fast. Or he's going to become a pleaser, and he's going to be in a relationship where he's afraid to make any mistakes. The problem is that women like to be pleased, but they don't want a pleaser. But as long as you use criticism in order to coach him or to teach him better or to help him, you're missing the point of his most important need of feeling appreciated and needed. And the most powerful way to destroy your man or to push him away is to criticize him publicly in front of friends or family. This is where you are almost sure to destroy your relationship on the spot. And sometimes it can be extremely hard to heal and make up for those kind of things. And of course, the last one is freedom. This is the obvious one that is often very much known. Guys like to have their space, their freedom, their time to do their things, to be out with their friend or whatever it is for your partner, but to have that space to do things and not feeling like controlled or feeling micromanaged or feeling like they have to always be in check and always have to reply and do that thing, that sense that like I can do what I want. The challenge is that, again, women want to feel safe, and in order to feel safe, what they subconsciously do sometimes is that they have this need to control their partner, because this is almost like a coping mechanism where they feel like if I can control him, it's going to give me a sense of control over my life, a sense of certainty, a sense of safety, so to speak. The problem is that it doesn't really work, because even though the woman may get a sense of safety because, okay, yeah, he's responding, yes, is this, is that, I know where he is, I know what he's doing, and blah, 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 and I feel safe. What they're also doing is that they're pushing the partner away, because at some point, the more contracted he feels, the more he wants to run away, the more distance is going to become, the more silent, or is just going to withdraw in his cave, when he just check out, so to speak. So those are the top 3 needs for a man in his masculine in a relationship. Now, of course, this can play out in so many contexts and so many different ways, and there are other needs that we all have individually based on our preference, based on our culture, our beliefs, and so many other orientations. But those are in terms of our energy, the core of where we stand energetically, whether it's the masculine or the feminine. And understanding where your partner is will help you greatly to meet this need. And if you do that and you see, and your partner does that, you'll see that you'll be able to keep that polarity active, meaning you'll be able to keep that spark, that passion alive. Otherwise, you'll end up either with the roles changing, meaning feminine women will become more in charge of the relationship because they feel like they have to take care of everything because they cannot trust their partner, and so they become more masculine. That means that the guy has to become more feminine, otherwise they're going to be clashing all the time together. And this is where the relationship will inevitably leads to a bitter end, because it's not who those two partners are at their core. And so they're only playing roles, and it may work for a little time, but it never works in the long run. So we have to be authentic, and we have to allow ourselves, even when it's scary, even when we are insecure, we have to be able to deal with our stuff, with our fear, with our emotion, but also be able to communicate our needs, and not only just blame it on our partner. And this is the whole complexity, but also the whole growth and the blessing of being in a relationship. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you next time. Be well.